What's up, internet friends? I guess this video will be more of a podcast episode, so I'll start by saying welcome to the Talking to Myself as I Draw podcast. For this episode, I wanted to talk about two things. One will show you how to give your creative projects an average of let's say 22 to 25 hours a week or more without burning out. And the second is how a creative schedule will help you stay on track with maintaining those hours and moving the needle consistently. I might split this into two parts because it will be a hefty episode. I think I will split this into two parts. So yeah, this is part one. If you're new to the channel, the YouTube channel that is, it is filled with art process videos, tutorials, and podcast episodes. As I kind of mentioned today, I want to talk about how to stay productive in your creative endeavors while having a 9-to-5, a day job, and or working full-time in another field. While speaking on this, I've included video from my first Twitch stream where I was working on my rendition of the character Spike Spiegel from the iconic anime Cowboy Bebop. If you want to catch me live sometime, go check me out on twitch.tv/MahmudTheMedium every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. There, I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, let's get started. So I want to start by saying that I know that, Gary Vee and a lot of these dream chasing motivational speakers are always saying, yo, you need to treat the side hustle like a full-time job, which, it has some validity, but in reality, most of us don't have another 40 hours a week worth of brain energy and physical, perseverance to spare after giving 40 to 60 hours to the jobs that pay our bills. That's just life. Adulting ain't easy, bruh. It is what it is. I used to think that by not giving my creative projects 6 to 8 hours a night, I was failing at chasing my dreams and goals, and it would lead to putting in 3 late nights in a row during the work week, sleeping poorly, being sluggish at work, which led to working later in order to finish my work, and then coming home too tired to do anything and requiring 2 to 3 days to recover. And then after those 2 to 3 days go by, where you get your physical, mental recovery back, you fall into the same anxious trap again of, oh shit, I'm not doing enough, I need to go hard tonight. Then you do the late night thing again. And it's just a vicious cycle. Eventually you kind of realize that 2 to 3 days on and 2 to 3 days off thing isn't going to produce the most effective and efficient results. I was, watching a Joe Rogan clip where this MMA trainer was saying it's more effective, to work out for 30 minutes a day every day of the year than to do an intense 60-minute workout 3 days a week that'll destroy your body for 4 days out of the week. It just doesn't make sense. Now, when applying that mentality to the time, dedicated to my creative projects, it made a lot of sense, even from a mathematic perspective, and I'll explain why. So as I said before, my method used to involve 2 to 3 late nights in a row, which might have translated to, let's say, getting home from work at 6 or 7 p.m., eating dinner, then working on, let's say, a painting from 8:30 or 9 p.m. to 1 a.m., which translates to, let's say, 4 hours in one night. I might have been able to keep this up again for 3 nights in a row, tops, but by day 4, I would need a break. And then day 5, I might still be recovering, so my motivation might still be low, only for my, anxiety to kick in on day 6, hey, you need to do something tonight. You see all these artists on Instagram posting every day, where you been for 3 days, bro? And then, I start frantically working for 4 hours, trying to catch up in one night, repeating, the same inefficient cycle. And I mean, the same inefficient and unsustainable cycle. So let's break down some of the math real quick here. This is how my weeks were looking before. Trying to add a visual aid out here. So you see, like Mondays, I would work, let's say, for 4 hours that night. Tuesday, let's say I worked for 4 hours that night. Wednesday, 4 hours. And then Thursday would be my burnout day. Friday, you know, is recovery day 2 / what we doing is Friday night. So you might work, you might not. Saturday's like anxiety day. Oh crap, I need to catch up on my creative work, but I also am an adult and I have to like go to the post office or clean my apartment or prepare food or buy groceries. So you're like struggling to squeeze creative time in because you didn't plan for it. And then the same thing happens again Sunday, only for you to start the same vicious cycle again Monday. And if we add these hours up, you know, they total up to approximately, you know, 16 to 18 hours a week. And now some of you might say, hey, 18 hours is great. It sounds like you're killing it, bro. But in reality, I wasn't, because I was still unorganized within those 18 hours. Within 18 hours, there were hours spent debating, oh, what to work on. Should I work on my sketch stuff? Should I be practicing this? Should I do a character study? Oh, my painting has been unfinished for 2 months. What am I gonna do? Should I finish that? Oh, I started this, you know, illustration I really wanted to get done. And you're thinking about that, you're thinking about what to do, and you're also thinking, oh, should I have added this to my shop? I just saw this guy made stickers. I should make stickers. I should do this. I should do that. My website is old. So it's like, not only, you know, like, sure, it's 18 hours on paper, but there's like at least, let's say for the week, like at least 5 hours where you're just wasting time trying to figure out what to do, or on Instagram trying to figure out, I don't know, just perusing for no reason. And, you know, within those hours debating what to work on, you know, weighing priorities and whatnot, there's a lot of counterproductive time being spent here. So I also realized I needed a daily schedule in addition to a restructure to the way I was working. And we'll get into the creative schedule in part 2 of this series. So for now, let's stay focused on my new productivity method. To reference that MMA trainer again, I wanted to be consistently productive on all of my projects on a daily basis without burning out. So I started by asking myself the question of what's doable to me personally. If I had the longest day at work and I got home and I'm super tired and I wanted to be in bed by 11:30 max, what is still doable when it comes to the hours spent on creative projects? And the number I came up with was 2 hours. If I felt good, I could go up to 3 hours, but if I hit 2 hours a day, I would be happy that I was being consistent. With that, I figured, okay, 2 hours a night, 5 days a week, and then on weekends, I would shoot for, let's say 4+ hours, give or take, in the mornings before weekend plans, or errands, or family obligations to kick in. And under this method, if I successfully, let's say I had a great week and I hit 3 hours a night with 8 hours on the weekend, I'm hitting, you know, 23 hours a week. Realistically, it would probably be more like 20 hours a week. But now this sounds like we've only increased by 2 hours from the old method. But accompanied with the creative schedule that I'm going to share with you guys in the next part of this series, you'll realize that these 20 hours are 100% productive, and that wasn't, you know, the case before. But even with that said, knowing me personally, that still wasn't enough for me, because I wanted to hit more than 20 hours a week and still be sustainable. And I asked the question of what time is the best time to guarantee my 2 hour, you know, daily minimum. And I had this epiphany recently that if I could just wake up 2 hours before the time I get ready for work, I have a guaranteed uninterrupted 2 hours to work on my creative stuff. So I started waking up at 5:15 a.m. every day, or every weekday. And then this helped guarantee that nothing would get in the way of my 2 hour minimum. And because of that, it also left my nights generally open. So if I came home, was a little lazy after work, ate dinner, etc., I knew I already hit the 2 hours, but in the back of my head, I was like, hey, doesn't hurt to do a little more before bed. So if I pick up the sketchbook or work on a sticker design or make a shop update for an hour or two before bed or work on what I was working on in the morning, I've now doubled my daily creative productivity. That's if I do 2 hours at night as well, which isn't every night. But hey, some nights you're like, oh, I'm good. I ate dinner. It's only 7 o'clock. Shoot, let's put in an hour or two. Why not? Under this method with the 5 a.m. wake up, I'm looking at about 2 to 4 hours a day on weekdays, which could equal 10 to 20 hours by Friday. And then, you know, if I spend 3 to 5 hours a day on the weekend, we're talking potentially 6 to 10 hours on the weekend, plus 10 to 20 hours on Monday through Friday. We're looking at minimum, let's say 16 hours a week, at maximum 28 hours a week spent on creative projects. I would probably fall somewhere in between, probably close to like 24. Let's just say I'm hitting 24. But to wrap up part one here, whether I'm hitting 24 or 28 hours on creative projects, you know, that's still technically, let's say 12 hours less than 40 hours that Gary Vee and these other, you know, motivational dream sellers claim you need to succeed. But with that said, I think 28 hours is a very sustainable amount of hours to keep up every week without going crazy, losing sleep, or ignoring your daily adulting. And with the 5 a.m. wake up that I've set up for myself, I'm able to achieve at least 20 plus hours a week. And it makes me feel good that I'm moving things forward little by little every day. There was, you know, before I would feel so bad on the days where I didn't do anything. And with this method, I definitely don't feel as bad, if bad at all, because I'm like, hey, you at least put in 2 hours towards stuff today. You know, like at minimum, you put in 2 hours, and knowing that will just like help your spirit. If you're somebody that's like working towards something outside of your day job, it'll just like uplift you to know that, hey, at least I got my 2 hours in. Even if you come home and do nothing, you're like, hey, I got my 2 hours in this morning, I'm good. But if you do more, it's even better. So it's like, it's a win-win. It's a win-win if you're hitting the 2 hour minimum every morning, and it's a win-win if you're hitting the 2 hour minimum every morning and doing a little more before you go to sleep at night. I'm just a psycho, so I do both. I'm doing 2-a-days out here. If only I could do 2-a-days with working out, then I'd be real golden. But I haven't found more hours in the day for that yet, but I'm working on it. One day we'll have that figured out as well. Okay. For now, stay tuned for part 2 next week, where I get into the specifics of what the hell I'm actually working on every day and how a creative schedule kind of helped me calm my internal storm when it comes to everything I want to do. And lastly, I also want to give a very special shout out to my first $10 a month patron, Assad Mobeen. Thank you for becoming a tier 3 patron, man. It really means a lot to feel that kind of support. He recently signed up for the Oh We Go Together Now tier. Go check out them tiers on Patreon. I'm offering 3 tiers where you can support for as low as $1 a month. For $1 a month, you'll get shout outs in all my videos, and your name will be printed in the shout out section of my next art book. For $5 a month, you get the same as I just mentioned, but you'll also get a physical copy of my next art book at the end of the year when it comes out. And for $10 a month, you get all of the above, as well as a free digital print every month. So go check me out on Patreon if you have a moment and want to support the kid. Again, thank you for tuning in this long. I hope this breakdown was helpful on how to stay consistent basically 7 days a week. And I understand everybody isn't trying to be consistently productive 7 days a week, but if you are, maybe this video could help you. And yeah, tune in next time for part 2 of this series, where I break down the daily schedule I've made for myself. Till next time, peace. But before you go, I wanted to mention some other very big news. If you haven't heard already, your boy just put out his first of many art books. Muddy Sketches Volume 1 is here, and it is basically a book. Well, you know it's a book. It's a collection of original sketches, ink drawings, and color illustrations created by yours truly during 2019. And for the new decade, I wanted to start an annual tradition of collecting all of my sketch ideas and concepts, illustrations or ink drawings, and whether they're finished, unfinished, and I want to compile them into a book. This book specifically gives you exclusive access to my creative ideas, sometimes in their rawest form. You'll be able to experience the raw and original concepts and studies that later evolve into large-scale paintings. And for just $9.99, you can become a collector of my creative work and support me on my creative journey. I know you want this book on your coffee table, so we ain't even going to mention the Kindle edition. Well, we just did. The Kindle edition is for sale as well, the digital version for $3.99, I believe. But get you a physical copy, bruh. Buy Volume 1 now, and we'll check back in 2029 to see who has all 10 books. Yeah, Muddy Sketches Volume 1, available on Amazon right now. Go get you one. Peace. If you made it this far through the episode, then that just means you love hearing scatterbrained streams of conscious delivered by a monotone voice. And that's truly awesome. You are truly awesome.